This one is unique. This one is special. Well, there was a fire out here a couple months ago and cleared off the vegetation. Makes the rocks easier to find. And I just noticed some rocks. I'm driving into where I'm planning to walk, but I thought I'd look at some of these rocks which are revealed, and I noticed some petroglyphs here. See an old spiral, a couple old spirals, not in great shape. There's I don't know, some sort of chevron pattern here, but I don't think I've ever noticed these before. Oh, look on this side. There's another spiral, an outline cross. Outline cross is sometimes meant or thought to mean Venus. Well, I'll start walking from here. It's a nice morning. It's a little cool, 40 degrees. But it'll warm up. It's been terrible around here. Central Arizona, Phoenix set a record high temperature, 21 days in a row. I never heard of such a thing. It's just unbelievable. I think it hit 117 in September, highest ever. 113 in October. Highest ever. Anyway, it's finally dipped. I think it's only going to be 90 in Phoenix today. Yep. This windmill is a solar mill these days. It's where that tank is filled with water. Must be an electric pump down there. Well, after the fire up here, there'll be more rocks to look at. So I'm hoping to find some new petroglyphs today. And I know I'll pass by some ones I've seen before too. And a couple ruins. You can see that the fire that came through here took out most of the grass. But really spared, well, here's some agaves. Some nice junipers. There's the moon up there. Cacti. So it wasn't a very intense fire. Well, I see a couple of petroglyphs. Go over and have a look. A line of deer. Imagine they're deer. Pretty nicely done, just for size. My hand in there. There's a bunch of rocks right here, and so as I said, I already saw a few others this way. More deer on this one. Pretty nicely done. These are, well, the antlers on that top one makes it look more like a antelope. Or bighorn. On this mesa these days, there are a lot of antelope, but I think they were introduced later. The sheep, the native sheep population here died out due to disease when they brought in the domestic sheep back, 100 years ago or so. But that's not so bad. Nice to see those. And over here I see a squiggly thing, maybe a snake. See, look at that big round head and a zigzag body. That's an interesting stylized snake with that big round head, if it indeed is a snake. Well, there's some other marks on this rock. The sun's not shining on it, so it's a little harder to see. That's a big circle. Back up a little bit. That's a big circle with some structure in it. Unfortunately, it's degraded. But again, you see how big it is. Sharp-edged piece of quartz. May have been man-made tool. I notice it's right in the vicinity of this little clearing area surrounded by small rocks. Could have been a small habitation area. The petroglyphs we're finding are just past this over here. Of course, I know we're near some bigger ruins, which we'll come to later. And from that little cleared area, which I've walked away from a little bit, I noticed these grinding slicks right here on this rock. Place where grain or seeds would have been ground to make something edible. I also know in this area there are a huge number of bedrock metates. Maybe we'll see some if we go that way. Oh, and I see a couple others. It's ungulate. That's what we call deers, bighorns, antelope, elk. But that one's pretty clear. And noticing that rock over there, a sort of squiggly thing. Pottery. A little bit of curvature to that one. There's really a fair amount of pottery in the vicinity here. Plain pottery only. But looking at this, it's a small habitation site. You see a couple of stones there. 3 stones to make a wall, I think they say in England, in English archaeology. But yeah, this clearing here in the perimeter, pretty clear that's a man-made. And well, here's a little better example of a grinding rock. You can see quite clearly three different grinding areas. Particularly these 2 of them are quite distinct. Still not deep. There are plenty of deep ones over in the canyon, but I'm now 100 yards away from the last place, so there may be more habitation around here. I think a lot of people lived around here. Oh, this area was most crowded about, I think, around 700 years ago. That's what the archaeologists say. Oh, here we go. Here's our first example of a bedrock metate. Filled in with dirt, but that may be an inch or 2 deep. They can be much deeper. Just past these rocks and looking back, I can see some bedrock metates in profile. Just come up and look, get a little closer view. You can imagine 700-800 years ago, a woman grinding grain or seeds with another rock to make a flour, and her friend over here. See the size of it. These ones are well made, and here's another one. This one's silted and partially filled in with dirt. But this was a community activity because you find them all together. I've heard people call them gossip stones. They imagine the ladies gossiping as they worked. There's probably more around. Oh, hey, look at that. I just ran into some petroglyphs accidentally. They're a bit in the shade of the tree. You can see a couple, it could be dogs or coyotes. And just over to the side I see one, looks like a rake. Oh, and there's a squiggle up there. Let's have a look at those. A rake is just what you might think. It's like, looks like a comb. And that's certainly one. And those are normally thought to be archaic, meaning 1,000 or 2,000 years old, maybe older. That's the kind of abstract design they were making back then. Not so many animals. Let's see what else we got here. So they said there's a squiggle up there, so go try to see that. Small, again, very old, likely old and deep. Yeah, these unfortunately are faded quite a lot, weathered, but you can see, well, that's certainly a bighorn and a bunch of other animals in here that have faded away. Looks like a rake there. That's a buck with a lot of antlers there. And some more over here. It's a nice bighorn down there. And our friend Bedrock metate right at the, just climbed up on top of this little cliff now, and you can tell there's grinding going on up here as well. Maybe even some little holes, which I understand were used for different purposes. Some places they say pigments. There's a filled-in metate down there with a lot of debris in it. I'm walking up toward the first of the two main ruins, but run into these bedrock metates along the way. Oh, there's some petroglyphs too. Little deer, or little bighorns. Those ones maybe not so clear. These ones better up here. There's quite a few of them. I'll show you how small they are. But there's 4 of them right there. And 2 of them over here. Let me put a hat on them, may seem a little more clearly. Not so bad. Well, we made it to the main ruin, the first of 2 main ruins. Let's go up and see. Of course, it's all collapsed. What you see is a big area of stone. My understanding is there's never been any excavation of these ruins by professionals. There have been pot hunters who've been coming here for probably getting close to 100 years. I can't remember exactly, something like 30 to 50 rooms. You see like some of the wall style. Over there, that's a better one. Maybe we'll go try to get a good look at that one. There you can see that wall is, that's pretty intact. It's got a pretty smooth side. Not so easy to build with the round rocks you find here, but that's not a bad job. Try again. Nice piece again, plain pottery. Pottery all around. Here's some stuff that's gray. Probably different type. I believe the gray stuff came from the Bradshaws or from Prescott. If I remember what I've read right. It's obviously quite different from the orangish red pottery, which is the most common plain pottery around here. Pretty nice piece. That's a rim piece. Well, you know, people have been coming here a long time. The can's probably, I don't know, at least, that's motor oil, maybe 50 years old, but look at this big piece of pottery right here. It's actually broken. I won't try to touch it, but look how big it is. And that's a rim piece. That's nice. Coming up on the other big ruin over there. Ruins up there, but I noticed this little hole here next to it. This might be an agave roasting pit. I'm not a skilled identifier of such things, but that could be what this is. Of course, the natives ate agave. They would, start a fire and put them in the ground and let them cook for quite a while. But here's the ruin up here. I think maybe similar size to the other one. 30 to 50 rooms, something like that. Well, I moved about 100 feet from the edge of the ruin. I wanted to come look at these rocks in case there's some petroglyphs, and I noticed some over here. So let's go look. That's quite a fancy design. Fortunately, it's faded like many of them around here. So not easy to interpret. Maybe that's an animal up there in the corner. Well, there's the ruin over there, and I just noticed in this rock pile I can see a couple little glyphs. There's a couple snowflakes over here. A bit unusual. Maybe a related thing here. Well, I've left that ruin, and I'm walking sort of toward a point that overlooks a creek. Sometimes a good place to look for petroglyphs. But I noticed the fire didn't get this far, so I have to deal with more grass and vegetation. This looks like a little sheltered spot where the animals like to sleep, like to bed down, judging by the grass. Here's the view looking down the main canyon. There's actually another major ruin site on the other side up there. And there's a big drop in this creek. You can see the top of it there. It takes a big drop. Not easy to get around. And, well, not the right kind of rock for petroglyphs around here. Well, I took a sort of unpleasant bushwhack / crash down to the creek. And gonna walk up the creek a little ways. Well, this pool is pretty much year-round. And I think it's one of the reasons that the habitation sites are near here. This available water makes quite a difference. There's petroglyphs all around it, but they're mainly faded. You can see a few of them over here. There's a bighorn, presumably. Some other things over here. Looks like a deer, a buck with big rack. Some other animals. Again, quite faded out stuff. Actually, I forgot. There are two pools. The one I showed a minute ago is the lower one. This one's just a little bit above it, a little further upstream. But again, a lot of permanent water. Something not easy to come by around here. Again, the walls were heavily decorated, but they're also heavily degraded. Here are the two ponds. You can see they've lasted through the summer. Water for the natives 700-800 years ago. There is quite a nice glyph over there. On the way to the nice one, here's some old ones. No patination to speak of, but you can see the texture. More further up the hill. This is the nice one I was talking about. Sometimes referred to as the planets or the solar system. Others think it's a picture of the habitation sites around the edge of this mesa. Whatever it is, it's quite unique. I like this one. I visited it many times. And right next to it is quite a unique one. It uses some negative relief to do a sort of a Christmas tree effect of the red native stone and then white where it's chipped away. If I back up, maybe I can get both of them in a picture. That's the way I like to do it. There you are. Wow. This one is unique. This one is special. You know, 99% of the glyphs on this mesa I found myself by randomly or by doing research. This is one of the very few ones that I got a clue from somebody who told me about it and showed me a picture. I couldn't believe I'd missed it. I'd walked very close to it several times. Well, there's a little one along the way. Bit of a mushroom. Or a guy, maybe that's a person holding a rainbow. I don't know. Oh, this one is awesome. One of my favorites. I've been to this one several times. About 8 years ago, I think. I brought a group out here. And I had walked in this area plenty, but I'd missed this one. And a friend of mine found it. And I've been back several times. And I was near enough to walk by today.